What is going on, guys? Joey Franza here, FLEXX Training Systems, and today I wanted to bring you this quick-ish video talking about accessories. We're going to kind of go through like a hierarchy of uh, using specificity as like our guide. We're going to go from kind of like the bottom up. I'm going to talk about um, priorities. What are we doing with the accessories? What are we trying to accomplish? Different kinds of accessories and customization, little things like that. So, yeah, guys. All right, let's get into it. So, accessories. There's a lot of confusion around its accessories out there. Accessories. I cannot speak, and I kind of want to shed some light on this. I talked about it briefly in my last workshop. But basically, like, what are the purpose of accessories? Eh? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? Now, the way that I kind of see it, it's like two main reasons. You want to hit some accessories. It's going to be injury prevention, right? So you want to strengthen muscles associated with the power lift and around the power lift to help just increase the durability of the lifter, and then um, possibly fixing any sort of weak link in the chain. For example, when we bench, where our primary movers are the pecs and the triceps, a little bit of shoulders. And if there's any kind of imbalance amongst those three, it might be beneficial to that lifter to really fortify that area, right? I think there's a nice balance that you have to kind of hit when it comes to accessories, and you also need to understand, like, when if you're doing too much, what, like, you could tank your comp lift because you're just going ham on accessories, right? I also wanted to talk about using machines a little bit, because that is a form of hitting some kind of accessory, and the way that I kind of value lifts in general, right? I'm gonna use the bench, and then I'll probably talk about squat a little bit. Um, is you want to go from specific to like your comp lift, and then you want to bridge out from there. And the further away you get from the bench, the less specific you're getting, the more into like isolation, right? So if you think of, you have two ends of the spectrum. You have your compound lift, squat, bench, deadlift, and on the other side you have your isolation movement, your tricep extension, hamstring curl, leg extension, stuff like that, right? One of them is going to be very important the closer you get to the meet. The other one is going to lose priority the closer you get to the meet. Um, I've been pretty flexible with this. Sometimes I will keep weird accessories in leading it to a meet. There's no strict rules. I like to say there's rules, but there's not, right? Like, you could kind of make your rules, if that makes sense. So, we have the bench press, and then if I wanted an accessory that closely resembled the comp bench press, I would use the close grip bench, right, or a max grip bench. Basically, a grip on the bench press, still laying down, still trying to get set up. You're just using a different grip, right? And then if I wanted to go further away from that, I might do feet up bench or like a Larson press or something where you're still doing the bench, but now you're getting farther away from the comp lift. What would be the next evolution of that? Well, if we're to keep everything flat, right, because flat is obviously a bigger priority, we'll go to dumbbells, right? We'll do flat dumbbell press, right? That's going to be that's going to really try to like evenly distribute stress kind of amongst the muscles associated with the bench, but you're really gonna feel your pecs, right, and your triceps, just more than you kind of would on the bench, at least for me, right? And then if you wanted to go, further away from that, you wanna make it so that the difficulty is no longer the weights, right? And we kind of did this going from close grip to flat dumbbells, but it's gonna be like stability, right? So you're gonna try single arm. Right, you're gonna do this, flat dumbbell press. So you're gonna do single arm flat dumbbell press, meaning you're either alternating or you're doing one arm at a time, right? And that is going to, um, that is gonna like further increase the difficulty of, what you're doing, but it is not as specific as your comp lift, and it may get you might get some benefits from doing things specifically, like or less specific and more sort of balance focused or stability focused. Possibly, maybe for younger, newer lifters, this could be somewhat beneficial for you. It might be good for even more advanced lifters, but they just kind of have imbalances because they built up so much strength on specific movements, but they didn't really, you know, they didn't really like ever address those areas, right? And then if we wanted to get further away from the comp lift, we would change the angle. So we would do the same thing, but we're progressing from flat to incline, from incline to vertical. If you want to get crazy with it, you could do standing, right? Overhead press, standing, vertical single arm dumbbell shoulder press. And now you see what I'm saying? So we're going from a very stationary controlled movement, and then we're bridging out further. And then I would say even beyond that is like a machine, right? Because a machine is going to stress you in a very specific way, and you're not working any stability because the machine is completely stationary, right? You can't move at all. There's no, you don't have to worry about balancing or anything like that, right? So what are the, where and when you do these types of things and how you should apply them? It's really going to just depend on like what issues are you trying to address. Do you have an injury in which your stability is compromised? Well, then machines might be good for you. If you are in an off season and you have the ability to kind of get away from your comp lift, maybe you're doing some single arm work, maybe you're doing some, alternating stuff, to work on things that are less of a priority when you're closer to the meet and more of a priority when you're farther out from the meet, right? As we get closer to competition, I like to cut all these things out and we kind of go backwards, right? So we'll go from the, instead of doing a lot of free weight and dumbbells, we're going back to barbell work and getting more specific to what we're going to do in competition, right? This is why it's very important to kind of understand the relationship between bodybuilding and powerlifting, because they do go hand in hand, and there are valuable things about both of them, and you just need to make sure that you know when to use them and where to use them and stuff like that. So it's all about what are you trying to do, right? What are you trying to work on? What are you trying to fix? I think if you have this war chest of accessories, and you can reach into there and pull out any weapon you need to kind of help you with whatever it is that you're dealing with. But yeah, and that same, everything that I talked about. I know I talked about the bench, but it works with comp squat and deadlift too. So for the squat, you have your low bar squat, and then we're just gonna go backwards, and you would go to a high bar squat, and then you would go to a safety bar squat, right? You're using different bars, and then we're not doing any free weight squat, right? Now we're moving into like a machine, maybe like a leg press, a belt squat, a hack squat. Then you have your single leg press, your single leg dumbbell RDLs, right? And all of these things, everything that I'm mentioning, it is to address something, right? Like what are we trying to fix? You get what I'm saying? I think machines have a time and a place. Me personally, I've really just been like obsessed with single leg press a lot. I really really feel my legs, specifically my glutes, and it hits my legs better than I can really hit them doing squats, right? For whatever reason, I mean, I just never feel my legs when I squat. It's always my outer glutes, my adductors, right? I know the reason. It's my footing, it's my stance placement, it's where I'm genetically, more just stronger, right? My body's gonna kind of gravitate to those areas. So, um, you know, I want you guys. Basically, the whole point of this video is I want you guys to think about when you're doing an accessory. I mean, if you have somebody writing in your programming, don't even worry about it, right? Like literally don't even like they should know, right? Whoever's writing your programming should say, is it maintenance work? Are we trying to complement, the amount of pressing you're doing by having you do a lot of pulling motions, right? So lat pull downs, cable rows, chest supported rows, things like that, right? If you only bench, you're going to build up all this muscle, in the front of your shoulders. It's going to pull your posture forward, right? And then over time, that could develop issues. You just have pain just kind of living because your muscles are pulling you in that position, right? So again, there's a lot of different reasons why you would do these types of things. I am very thankful that me personally, I mean, knock on wood, I've just had amazingly healthy shoulders. Um, I bench a good amount of weight too, and I've just had very healthy shoulders. But I think if I had to guess, it's because I religiously, like throughout my entire lifting career, powerlifting or not, I always do my rows. I always do my lat pull downs. I always do, I even throw rear delt flies, curls, even cable curls sometimes. I'm always working the opposite because I know I'm doing so much pressing. If I don't work that, I might have some issues. Right now, you can overdo it, and it's important to understand, like, when it's time to push that and when it's not. And you just have to be smart about it. So That's for me personally. If I had to do some self critique, I would say, I don't really, I train my lower body pretty even, but because I've had a bad lower back, I don't really train my lower abs, right? I don't do my hanging leg raises or anything like that. I've been doing them. I don't know if it's gonna make that much of a difference, but it's just something that, like, if I have the extra time in the gym, I might do it. Again, if I'm training a lot of triceps, I might want to complement by training some biceps. There's always gonna be anomalies or people that just like they don't ever work the opposite. They don't ever like even out their body, right? And this is why kind of like like I said, bodybuilding and powerlifting go hand in hand. You wanna complete the organism, right? You want to complete the lifter, right? You don't want them to have any weaknesses. You want them to be strong all around. Obviously, there's going to be times when you can focus on really building them up, and then you got to really focus on the comp lifts. Um, and I think accessories allow for more customization, especially in the off season, because you know the accessories are there to like kind of fix specific things. You could be flexible with it. You can move them around. You can rotate them in, rotate them out. Whereas we have to do comp lifts, right? We're doing comp lifts all the time. Um, and I think that's that dynamic between the two has been very effective over the years, and it's honestly enjoyable for me to do when I'm making someone's program, and I'm like, okay, like how can I use all my accessories that I know of, right, to like better help this person. So accessories are important. I do think they are, but they become less important. Like I said, closer you get to competition, and then like if we were to use Jesus for example, right? He's very strong and he requires a lot of recovery. So I can't with a lifter like that. You really want to be careful giving them too many accessories because it's going to just take away from his big, heavy comp lifts that require a lot of recovery and attention, right? Now, if I have a smaller lifter, I might be able to keep that in all the time, and I do have some like fail safes in place, just like for example, somebody that's training on lower frequency, I'm not going to have them come in the gym just to do accessories, right? Because I value recovery. That's the priority in that moment. Whereas like a smaller lifter, they're gonna have a lot more relative, like just kind of output that they can tolerate, and they're gonna be in the gym all the time, and they're gonna get a little bit more of a bodybuilding effect, if that makes sense. But yes, all forms of training will create hypertrophy, so you don't like try to get your mind off of you know like, oh, powerlifting means only this. Like some people think powerlifting is like only singles. It's just singles. No, it's singles are a part of it, but singles are gonna build some muscle too. Like when people if they inquire and they say like, hey, I want to incorporate some bodybuilding, I'll be like, yo, that's great and that's fine, no problem. But I just want to let you know we don't have no skinny champions here, brother. Right? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the little accessories talk. Don't forget to check the description of the videos occasionally for various things you might find interesting. I hope everybody's doing well. Mentally getting my mind right for these next. It's gonna be real soon, and we're gonna be at a lot of meets, handling lifters, getting those pro cards, trying to secure those worlds invites and nationals invites, and it's gonna be good. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me get a hashtag Let's Work in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.